Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about Andrew Yang and Silicon Valley, that city in California, and Silicon Valley, the absolutely brilliant comedy-dramedy from the drama comedy from HBO, which we watched on Hulu, which because Hulu just recently did an HBO Unlock, which is a really big deal. That is HBO porting a lot of content over to Disney, which is pretty. And again, I keep telling you, entertainment is the new steel. Pay attention, right? This is where America's real power, real money is. All right, so Silicon Valley is an absolutely brilliant drama comedy by HBO about tech. Tech is a hair's breadth away from. Actually, tech is. It is mixed so in with technology. Tech is it mixed so in with politics today that they are inseparable. They are woven together. This show is about technology, which means it is about politics. So when you're talking about tech, you're talking about money, you're talking about class, you're talking about people, you're talking about genius, you're talking about innovation. These are catalysts in politics. So this show really is very much about politics. I suggested this show to you. I have watched 4 seasons of 6. You have watched all 6 seasons. I told you to check this show out, and you blasted past me in finishing this content. Why did this capture your millennial attention?
Yeah, it truly is just a great show with great actors, a lot of whom I already knew and really were very funny and very enticing in this also very well written storyline. So I do a lot of art you can see on my channel, and as I do that, I like to watch TV, and this was my show of choice as I've been doing art and some TV watching over the past few weeks.
By the way, this is a rated R show. They don't do ratings for the small screen, but it is a rated R show. If you're an adult, we do recommend it. I recommend it. Would you recommend this? I don't know.
Yeah, if again to
to adults. Yeah, exactly. So, but this is 5 out of 5 star content for me. What stars would you give it?
I'd give it a solid 4. I don't know. I'll reserve
4 out of 5. Yeah, absolutely. So we think it's a good show, and we're taking the time now to map the characters from Silicon Valley to the 3 prominent candidates in the race today. All right, and I will define in the race today. But first and foremost, spoilers for the entire series, all 6 seasons of Silicon Valley. Spoiler warning. All right, so who are the three prominent candidates that are useful, viable, and important in today's 2020 primary race? Well, you got Donald Trump. He's in it. No one cares for him as a president. I don't think anybody was like, oh, I want Donald Trump to be my president. But they are very much interested in what Donald Trump has produced. And so I don't think there are any real fans of Donald Trump, but I do think there are absolutely fans of what Donald Trump has put on the table. He is a provider, right? He has provisioned America with chicken in every pot, with an incredibly robust employment situation, and coronavirus. Nobody else would have more jobs now because of coronavirus. Trust and believe that. But he is the person who has incumbency, so he's there, right? Joe Biden, he is the weakest, most fragile Democrat candidate that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm 50 years old. But he is who the blue power base has chosen, and he is the candidate right now, and he is firmly in place to go another 2 or 3 weeks in this race. And I'm confident he's going to be able to finish another 2 or 3 weeks as the presumptive nominee. I have no confidence he will make it to the convention, and no one has confidence that he can make it even through a single term, which is what he's promised to do. He's pretty much a placeholder for whichever female VP he chooses, but he's in the race, right? Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is the critical candidate in the 2020 primary U.S. Democrat candidacy or race right now. He is suspended. We are calling for him to unsuspend. But the reason why he's so important is he is the only candidate who has the ability to deliver the actual future that America deserves, which is a great future. Not a good future, but a great future. With that, let's map these candidates to the Silicon Valley to Silicon Valley, map all three of these candidates to Silicon Valley characters. All right, Donald J. Trump. Who do you think he is in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I think that he is a character called Jin Yang. He lives with all of the main characters in this show, and he's played by Jimmy O. Again, the actor's name will be on the left. The character's name will be on the right. I'll typically refer to them as the characters because I'm so familiar with the characters and less familiar with the actors. Yeah. But he did do a great job portraying him. His character would clearly learn English as a second language, and because of that, misunderstood a lot of the stuff and appeared to be almost the dumbest character in the show. As the show went on, though, it was very clear that a lot of it was almost putting up a front, and he's actually very smart and very spiteful. So he was very dangerous, and I think you could say similar things for Trump. Many people think he's dumb or stupid. I wouldn't say that, but I do think he's smarter than he appears, and that makes him very dangerous.
So I actually think that Donald Trump is absolutely wicked smart, and I think this is one of the best mappings of character to candidate. Jin Yang absolutely is brilliant in the show as a character, and is always tracking, even when he doesn't seem to be tracking, and is playing the game at a different level. And that's Jin Yang, and that is Donald Trump to the core. I think that's a fantastic mapping. I think that Donald Trump is Monica from Silicon Valley. So Monica works in tech, and frankly, her entire job could be done on a cell phone. She really doesn't use computers the way any developer would use a computer, or the way any engineer would use it. Any data engineer would use a computer. But she made more money, I think, in the show than any of the developers. Did better than almost any of the like the Erlich Bachmans or Richard. She played the game and ended up as a venture capitalist. Actually, she was a venture capitalist at one point. And the whole point is she refused to engage with the game on the level that most people were engaging in it, and still came out on top. And that's the thing is, Donald Trump is the king of the world as president. I believe that U.S. president is king or queen of the world. And he has more political power than anyone right now on the planet. And he is not a politician. He is not playing political games. He's doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He's doing it in plain daylight. He's owning his Darth Vader behavior, and he's just playing a game at a different level. I think Monica, he's Monica. Monica is him. All right, let's talk about the real deal, Andrew Yang. Who do we think Andrew Yang is as a Silicon Valley character? Would it go?
Yeah, so I would compare him to Jared from Silicon Valley. Jared is by far one of the most intelligent, most kind people in the show. However, because of that, for the vast majority of the show, he lags far behind business and money-wise. It varies the nice guys finish last trope. But you can tell that he absolutely adores the people he is working with and his job. But because it's in the midst of all these other just jerks and alligators, sometimes he gets eaten up for it. So I think right now, in this case that Andrew Yang has suspended, he is Jared. But further on, Jared does have some power in the main company they call Pied Piper, and I think that can also be Andrew Yang.
So I love that this is again, I think your mappings are even better than mine. Andrew Yang, there's so many analogies to Jared. So one, Jared was never appreciated the way he should have been. And actually, what's tearfully obvious, and I so hope we don't end up in this situation, is when Jared was appreciated the most was when he was gotten rid of. At one point in the show, he actually quits, and he's gone for literally not even 10 minutes before they make a decision that is absolutely destructive to the future of Pied Piper. And Jared was always thinking about process. He was thinking about tools, and he was thinking about people.
Mhm.
And he was the only person, and everybody else in the show was constantly thinking about tools, absolutely oblivious to process, and never thinking about people. And Andrew Yang is that type of person who thinks about process, tools, and people. He is a once in a 10 generation leader. And just like Jared, no one appreciates him. And unfortunately, I think we may lose him and may not have the opportunity to have a presidency under him. And only when we slam into, a horrible situation, we're already there. Good Lord, we're sitting in it right now. We're sitting in the middle of a time where UBI would be perfect, and still people don't see the brilliance of Andrew Yang. It is so frustrating, and people sit by and watch while lesser candidates steal his ideas. It is atrocious.
Yeah, I actually have another comparison for him, because you're absolutely right. He is one of the only people who actually cares about the other people, and I think it's because of his background. Like Yang, all of the businesses and charities he's worked in would truly make him better at this job of president. Just like they only mention it once in a while, and they almost never really delve into it. But it's so clear that Jared has this long, tortured background, and that's part of the thing that makes him just really have an eye out for his friends, and for definitely the lower people as well. His background truly gives him a bigger heart, and I think that's true for Jared and Yang.
He has a noble heart, and so does Andrew Yang. And I'm telling you, I'm so just upset that our country is not seeing the value of Andrew Yang. And Andrew Yang is the Jared. Jared is the best character in the show as far as a good human being. He might be one of the only few human beings in the show, but he really is special. And yeah, absolutely. I think Andrew Yang maps to Gilfoyle. Now, Gilfoyle is a brilliant developer, all right? And he is absolutely brilliant. And guess what? He's on the infrastructure side. He's on the server side. He's on the back end, right? And that's, boy, oh boy, is that Andrew Yang. He was looking at the economy. And he has an economy degree from an Ivy League school, right? Andrew Yang is an economist. And but economists are a dime a dozen. He's an economist with a noble heart. That's why Andrew Yang is so special. Gilfoyle is actually, so he is a developer, and his intelligence and his effectiveness and his calmness all map directly to Andrew Yang. Gilfoyle is decidedly different than Andrew Yang in that Gilfoyle is a Satanist. He follows Satan in the show, and it is a big part of Gilfoyle's character. Now, where is the break from Andrew Yang? Well, it's not that far, in that I don't actually think Gilfoyle as a character actually is a Satanist. I think he chose that to fit to project what he wanted people to believe, right? And Andrew Yang, he says, I'm spiritual but not religious, and that is textbook. I want to project what I believe to people, because you don't want to really say, oh, I think we go to dirt and nothing. There's nothing beyond this world, because it's, who wants to hear that? And I think Andrew Yang, I think that's what he believes. I think he thinks when we're gone, there's going to be dust, but he doesn't want to say that to anybody, because he knows it turns people off. And also, there has never, listen carefully, there has never been an atheist president in this nation, and it will harm you to even admit that you are agnostic. So again, I think, Andrew Yang wears his spiritual but not religious as a badge. I think he's pretty non-religious, but he's married to an evangelical Christian, in my opinion. All that's very interesting, but I absolutely think Yang is Gilfoyle. All right, so let's talk about man of the hour for this hour, maybe another hour after that. But I really think this dude's on a clock. I really don't. I will be amazed if Joe Biden makes it to the convention. The reason why, he's like close to 80 years old, and we're in the middle of coronavirus. That is not good math for anybody right now. And the reality is the idea that we are giving the hardest job in the world to someone who really should be focusing on staying alive right now. It doesn't make any sense at all. But let's talk about it. All right, who do you think Joe Biden is?
Yeah, I would say he is Gavin Belson from Silicon Valley. Gavin Belson is the head of a company called Hooli. It's a lot like Google. It's not Google because that also exists in this world, but it's just this big tech company that the main character, we haven't mentioned him, but Richard actually and Jared actually work for and then split off from to create Pied Piper. So at the beginning of the show, it's clear that Gavin Belson's way up here with Hooli, and Pied Piper's just kind of scrambling on their feet. And then as the show progresses, Pied Piper goes on, and some things happen, and like Gavin Belson goes down until it actually flips, and Pied Piper actually buys Hooli. And I think that this is like as you said. Biden is the man of the hour. It's clear that he is on top. He's the presumptive nominee. But I also think it's clear he's not going to stay there, and he's going to be surpassed by the younger, less experienced candidates.
I do not think that Joe Biden is Gavin. And the reason why is Gavin is he has many faults, right? So one, I don't think Joe Biden has like a kind of a cruel heart at all. And I think Gavin Belson does. Two, I think Gavin Belson is brilliant. And I do not think that Joe Biden is brilliant. Gavin, for all his faults, is a genius. He is brilliant. He is innovative. Joe Biden is none of those. He is not brilliant. He is not a genius, and he is not innovative. Every single solution he has is, we did this when I was with Obama. Or I'm going to cure cancer. Okay. But here's my issue, right? Joe Biden is not dumb in any way. He is smart. Joe Biden is smart. But when you want a president, you want world-class intelligence. And I don't think anybody pretends that Joe Biden has world-class intelligence. He's smart, but he's not brilliant, and he's not a genius. He certainly isn't innovative. But that's the only one where I'm a little off from you. In my opinion, Joe Biden is actually Big Head. So Big Head in the show is a character who is placed into prosperity based on the people he knows. And boy, oh boy, is that Joe Biden to a T. Joe Biden is here because Obama made him famous. Period. Done. End of sentence. Joe Biden is Obama's Big Head. Period. And Big Head was Richard's. Big Head is Richard's Biden. It's a lock. So that is who we would map all these people to. We both. I desperately hope that Donald Trump can be defeated, and I desperately hope that Joe Biden will realize that he never should have run, and that the reality is when you're 79 years old, you don't go out into the back of your yard and chop down a tree and create 10 cords of wood. Basically, if you're 79, you don't chop down the tree. You tell people how to use the saw, right? And you tell people where to put the cords of wood. It's what is being done with Joe Biden right now is outrageously dangerous, outrageously foolish, outrageously cruel, in my opinion. Joe Biden should not be being asked to do this job right now. And I really hope he comes to his senses and drops out of the race and just turns all of his delegates to ash and reboots this election so that the blue side has a chance at having a great future. What's your thought? What's your final thoughts?
Yeah. Again, if this does sound like your thing, I'd recommend Silicon Valley. Not only was it entertaining for me, it made me think very differently about business and money and a lot of the things they talk about in this show. So yeah, thank you for talking with me about it. I was really excited when I finished because again, this is one of I think a lot of entertaining shows and movies that we've been able to talk about on this channel. So as soon as I finished Silicon Valley, it's like, oh, we got to talk about this. So I'm really glad we did. Yeah.
Now I'm going to publicly ask you to watch Veep.
Will do.
Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.